Welcome back to another episode of the podcast, Magnet Ball Podcast. Here, I'm here with Jane Sheffy and Makai Slaughter, and we're back with another episode, and we will be discussing the NFL today. I thank you guys for joining, and I hope you guys like and subscribe to the video. We're gonna jump right in. We have a full slate of NFL topics to talk about. We have the Ravens and the Bills that just played Sunday night. We got the Cowboys and Eagles that played, as well as the Lions and Packers. We also got Jaden Sheffy. He's going to cover our rankings, his top 10. And then we'll discuss some week two matchups. We'll have the Eagles visiting the Chiefs for a Super Bowl rematch. We have the Commanders going to the Packers in Lambeau. The Falcons going to the Vikings, who just won a thriller against Chicago, and then we have the Bucs at the Texans. So it should be another good weekend of NFL football. Let's hear your thoughts on the Ravens versus the Bills.
Yeah, man, that was absolute fireworks. Um, NFL does it again for week one. Just great games all around. Just great week one overall in general, but particularly this game was absolute fireworks. Both two teams, these are clearly probably the two best teams in football currently, Bills and Ravens, and two best quarterbacks, and they just put on a show. Josh Allen, he was just amazing. Lamar Jackson was amazing. Derrick Henry was amazing, even with despite that fumble. I mean, not too much to take away too much from these games. We knew this was going to be a great game. They just proved both of them are wide. They're at top of the conference and potentially could meet for an AFC championship. Like I think these are probably by far the two best teams. But hate to see it for Baltimore. Baltimore always seems to find new ways to lose games. Um, and yeah, it's just very disappointing to see Baltimore consistently do it again and just consistently just blow leads. And I don't know with Jim Harbaugh. I saw a stat where it said with Harbaugh, John Harbaugh, that like he has like 17 double-digit blown leads, which is like the most since '91 out of all coaches, which is like insane. So it's just like I don't know. It's like when they get up, they just lose it. I don't know if it's just a mental thing or if it's just a like complacency thing, but it seems like they just consistently seem to do stuff like this. But it was a great game, great overall game. Everyone played pretty well on offense, but Jair, he is food, by the way. I wanted to mention that he is straight food, barbecue chicken. He was god awful. Couldn't guard a parked car. But yeah.
Uh, this game was a great way to kick off Sunday Night Football, as Makai alluded to already. What a show by both quarterbacks. I think I'd also saw a stat that Josh Allen has won like the last 23 out of 25 games when it comes down to one possession in the final drive. So unreal performance from both of them. Lamar did his thing, Derek did his thing, except the fumble there. But he had a monster night. Overall, it just can't happen for Baltimore. It just cannot happen. If you want to be a Super Bowl winning team and you're up 15 with 4 minutes to go, you got to close games out. Um, I don't think there's much other than that to say about that situation. But I hope we see those teams again in the AFC Championship. It was a great game overall and a fun watch.
Yeah, it definitely was a good game. I'm just gonna focus on the Ravens. I'm gonna give all kudos to the Bills. They grinded for that one. They deserve the win. When it comes to the Ravens, it's completely unacceptable. What they're up 15 with what 3:59 left in the game. Yeah, it can't happen. And it comes down to two things. Lamar having what Zay Flowers and a bunch of grandmas to throw to on the offense, and then the play calling is just lethargic. Second down they run the ball, and then third down they run a drag to D Hop in front of a bunch of corners just waiting to tackle him, so they punt. And year in and year out, it's either Lamar having a tight end as his best pass catching weapon, or just receivers that can't break tackles, or they're just one dimensional, and it's just not going to work out, especially with the play calling. So they got to figure it out in Baltimore, and I can't see this team winning a ring until they get that stuff figured out. So Anything else on this topic? Or are you guys ready to move on?
Yeah, I think it just honestly comes down to the games they should win. I don't think it's a lack of skill. Clearly, what they've been doing over the last 3 years on the offensive side of the ball has been working. But it's just in those big games where they need to close things out and they don't. So again, it could be a coaching thing, could be just not having the right guys in the right spots. I'm not sure what it is. It could be multiple things, but yeah, it's those big moments where it's just one or two key plays that just don't shake out the way they planned and doesn't win you a Super Bowl.
I hear what you're saying, but I think it's twofold. I think it's the scheme of what they play on the offensive end, and then them not having the personnel to go and do something else with their offense. The receivers they have, they're gadget guys, they're speed guys, and then D Hop's past his prime. But once you have Mark Andrews, who was his best option on to throw to, like you're a run first offense that can't do much in the passing game unless Lamar goes ballistic. And to not put the ball in his hands on second and third down too, like what are you doing? You're pretty much asking Buffalo to come back and win this game, in my opinion.
The only pushback I may should have when it comes to the receiver personnel is like this is the same receiving personnel as the reason why Lamar has two MVPs. Like this is the same receiving personnel as the reason why they're going 14-2.
Hold
They're
on,
going
Lamar has two
13 and
MVPs
4.
because he's Lamar.
We agree. Like
Because he's Lamar.
I agree. It's because of Lamar. I'm not saying we're not. I'm not here to diminish what Lamar is doing. But what I'm saying is like to some point, like this is who like you're winning games because of this personnel. Like you're winning games. Like you're winning games. So it can't be like the personnel is just so weak. It's so bad. It's so terrible. Could the
I wouldn't say
receiver
weak.
could the
I'm
receiver
saying to
help
win a
beat?
ship.
Could it
I'm
be?
saying to win a ship.
You're telling me they weren't good enough to win last year?
Clearly not. Mark Andrews
No,
dropped the ball.
they didn't win. I agree, they didn't win. But you're telling me they weren't good enough to win what 2 years ago? That team wasn't good enough.
Did they win?
Why?
I don't remember 2 years ago, but last
When
year
they
they
lost to the
still dropped the
Chiefs,
ball.
that was because of Lamar. It wasn't because of personnel. Lamar did not play well. So it's just like it's
It's
little.
because of Lamar, but it's the scheme that they run based off of the personnel they have. It's a run first offense.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, I don't blame him for that. I mean, you have Derrick Henry back there, and then Lamar Jackson, and I mean, Mark Andrews is one of the better blocking tight ends in the league. So I can't blame them for being run first. That's just kind of their style. I don't think that's diminishes them though. I don't think that's the reason why they're not getting over the hump. That's just my opinion. But
Did you see what they're running? The scheme wise, second and third down.
are you talking about like on the final drive?
Yeah, they're running plays based off of the personnel they have, is what I'm saying.
You talking about on the
They
final
don't
drive?
have
You
a
talking?
guy who's gonna go one on one and make something happen on the outside. They
I
don't
mean,
have that.
you don't always need that. Like we've seen teams win Super Bowls where they didn't have that. I mean, we've seen teams do it.
I agree.
Chiefs have done it. Chiefs did it. They didn't have nobody on the
Chiefs.
outside that can go 1-on-1. Like you don't need that to win.
That's the Chiefs, bro. That's the Chiefs. Anyways, we could keep it pushing. We got the Cowboys and Eagles. Makai, let's hear it. Your top 10 team.
Oh, Cowboys, man. I gotta be honest. I was actually impressed with what I saw. I'm gonna be honest. I thought they looked fine. I think the offense looked really good. Um, yeah, I think the offense looked very good. Dak looked really good. Um, yeah, I love the way he threw the football on Thursday night. I thought the run game was they ran it a lot better than I expected. I mean, if you look at the yardage, it's not nothing crazy, but they ran it well when they needed to, if that made sense. Like they needed a yard, they got it. If they needed 2 yards, they got it for the most part. The one turnover is really the big thing that kind of killed the Cowboys early on, and when they had a lot of momentum, and to the weather delay, that also kind of took any of the momentum they had offensively going for both teams. But I thought Dak played well. I thought Jalen Hurts also played very well. Yeah, it was. I'd love to see AJ Brown a little bit more involved, considering he's a receiver number one and one of the better receivers in the league. So that's one of the things for the Eagles. And Jalen Carter, what the heck are we doing? Yeah, that just can't happen. Your team clearly needed you, and that's why they were able to run the football as well as they did at times, because of that just foolish mistake. But if you're the Cowboys, like I'm gonna be honest, like I mean, if CD Lamb catches a couple passes, they probably win that game. Yeah, CD was the biggest reason for why they lost that game. I mean, Dak's putting him on the money. I mean, we all think CD here is probably a top three, top four receiver in the game, and he's got to make those catches. Like, I mean, I don't know what else to tell you. He's got to make those catches. But for the Cowboys moving forward, like I would feel very encouraged. Their defense also too looked good at times too. I mean, they have a lot of talent on the defense with Diggs and Overshown, and Kenny Clark seemed like he did very well up the middle too for the Cowboys. So if you're the Cowboys, like hats off to him. I mean, you played this defending Super Bowl champs and you played them very well at their turf. So yeah, I'm definitely more encouraged than discouraged after what I saw.
It's like history, man. You just got to be patient. You just got to be patient. What can go wrong will. And unfortunately, it was really uncharacteristic for me to see CD drop that many passes. I think he had five, 3 or 5 drop passes. Um, that will not happen again. I can promise you that. But you catch 2 of those in that last drive, it's a wrap. I think the Cowboys walk away with a road one victory, or week one victory, excuse me, on the road in a very hostile environment against defending champs. That I don't know. That honestly catapults them with a ton of momentum heading into the rest of the season. So the big swing, I think, even though it is week one, I'm not going to blame the weather delay that happens as part of sports. Um, but it does impact a few things for sure. I think what really impressed me was Jalen Hurts. I think he did really well with using his legs. Dak looked really, really good. I'm not gonna lie. I was really impressed with how well he played, especially with the Eagles defense. Yeah, I think it's definitely something to note. Put a little asterisk on it, not to take away from Dak's performance, but Jalen Carter not being there obviously does have a different impact. But that is just one person. Um, Nonetheless, I think Dak played a very sound game of football, and looked better in that one game than I think a lot of last year. So hats off to the Cowboys for their effort in Week One on the road. Philly, in my opinion, is still a top team in the league. Um, I'd like to see the passing game develop a little bit more, but again, it's Week One, so won't have any harsh reactions yet. But overall, really good opening game for the NFL.
Yeah, I agree with the both of you. This game's on CD. You're a top three receiver in the league. You got to come down with at least three of those. And honestly, two of those drops bouncing off his chest should have been picks. Um, yeah, it just cannot happen. And like Jaden said, what's gonna go wrong will go wrong with the Cowboys. Um, and obviously, I don't think CD will make those kind of mistakes again. But there will be mistakes that are made by the Cowboys throughout the season. You can just bet on it. Um, but that being said, Dak looked really good. He was on time, precision in his throws. He was a surgeon, and I gotta give him credit. I'm impressed with the way he played. He's looking like, his MVP form before injury 2 years ago. Jalen Hurts though, he looked even better. And it's not even just with his legs or he didn't get the ball to AJ or Devontae that much, but it was his decision making for me. Um, just obviously his accuracy, but like knowing when to run, knowing when to, move out of the pocket and hit his receivers downfield. He did a really good job just playing quarterback at a sound level. So yeah, hats off to the Eagles, and they're gonna have a tough matchup because I think the Chiefs are gonna give them all they can handle in Week 2, especially after that Week 1 loss. So I do think we're gonna talk about this in the next segment, but I think the Eagles passing game has to develop a bit more for them to beat the Chiefs next week. Moving on, last game we're going to recap on is the Lions and the Packers. Lions looked to shell themselves. It did not look good. Losing those coordinators took a big effect, and Packers took full advantage of that. So I'll let Jaden start with his thoughts.
Yeah, obviously, again, it's week one, but Lions look terrible. Um, it was really embarrassing to see pretty much no offensive production that whole first half and even into some of the third quarter. Yes, the Packers are a really good team, but that is a divisional matchup. You have to do better than that. To Dylan's point, losing both coordinators takes a huge effect and a huge impact across the whole team. So that definitely still needs to work out. But I actually want to focus a little bit more on the Packers. They look really solid. They look really good, especially defensively. That front seven, I think, is the top three front seven in the league right now. They look fast. So that looked really good. If Jordan Love can improve in this area in his decision making this season, that will be a top offense in the league. And they can make a Super Bowl run if he keeps it up and the receivers stay healthy. But overall, I think this is a really good Green Bay team. But the Lions, I wasn't too encouraged by what I saw just from week one. Um, Goff didn't seem too comfortable in years past. Didn't really get Amon Ra involved much. Gibbs was kind of a non-factor. A little bit concerning to me, but like I said, it is week one, so we'll see what they bring in the next coming weeks.
Yeah, Detroit looked bad. I'm gonna just be honest. Jared Goff looked like he was seeing stars, a lot of checkdowns, not really pushing the ball down the field at all. I mean, got a hats off to the Packers, like they really came into play. But yeah, the Lions looked really bad, offense and defense, especially the first half. Like, dude, they were carving them. Like Jordan Love was carving them up, pretty bad in the first half. They got like the defense definitely settled more in towards the second half and looked a little bit better, but that first half it was all food. But yeah, just the lines will be okay. Like I think they'll be fine at the end of the day. Like when you lose both coordinators, they just got to you know iron out the kinks and some of those things. But I will say this for the Packers: like none of their receivers are crazy elite, but nobody is bad neither. Like when you just like everyone does their job and plays their role, and like anybody can go off at any time, and I think that's what makes them scary, and that's why like Jordan Love and like if he can just be a solid decision maker, like Jaden says, like this team could really win a Super Bowl. And Micah, oh my gosh, like dude played like 55% of the snaps, and he just looked like the best defender in the league. Like I mean, causing. I remember there was one play. I think it was like his first play in. Like he destroyed Pine, destroyed Sewell, and then like Golf had to slide out instead of hitting the drag because it was wide open. But he couldn't. He couldn't step into it and make the throw because Micah just destroyed the right tackle. And he had to roll out. I think he ended up throwing away, and they had to punt. Like Micah just causing havoc. That yeah, the Packer team is going to be very good, and I think they are could be in position to make a Super Bowl run. So
Yeah, I totally agree, Makai. This team looks scary. Like I said, Detroit looks like a shell of themselves. Even if the Packers look like a Super Bowl team, I thought Detroit would still be able to compete. Um, but like you guys said, the wide receiver group is strong, and it's not only that they got two really good tight ends in Musgrave and Tucker Craft. So Jordan Love is, and we're not even mentioning Josh Jacobs. So yeah, no, Jordan Love just got a plethora of weapons and at his disposal, and this defense is looking like a top five defense, maybe top three with Micah, if he plays a full game. So I think the Packers are going to be a tough out in the NFC, and they might win the NFC the way they're looking. We don't want to jump to conclusions in week one. We know the Lions are going to have to work out some kinks. We'll see if they're able to figure it out, but all credit to the Packers and the great move by the front office and getting Micah. And shoot, sky's the limit for this team. Moving on, we got power rankings. Jaden is going to give us his top 10 teams currently after week one. So let's hear it.
All right, so we're going to start from the bottom, going from 10 all the way up. I'll keep each one brief and we'll expand a little bit more on the teams that are in the top five. But With no further ado, starting with number 10, I've got the San Francisco 49ers. The Niners had a really good game on Sunday, yesterday. Um, I guess against my Seahawks. Was not too happy about how the game ended, but losing Kittle in the second quarter, losing Juwan Jennings, McCaffrey nursing an injury, they still looked really good and played a really good Seahawks defense. And to be able to pull out a win was very impressive. So I got them as my number 10 team. Number nine, I actually have the Vikings, the Minnesota Vikings at number nine. I thought this was a really good football team. After what we saw against the Bears, yes, it's the Bears. They're going to do the Bear things. But this offensive line and defensive line look really good. Um, Obviously, you can expect that from a Vikings team. The skills on the outside and the receivers, no questions there. Didn't even have Addison. So they're just loaded on that front. The running back tandem, the 1-2 punch between Aaron Jones and Jordan Mason, I really like that move that the front office made. They look really solid, and you can put them out in empty. They can go for the Super Bowl. JJ McCarthy is just going to settle in more and more over time as the season progresses. The Kevin O'Connell system, you can't question it. It's always going to deliver. And then we're not even mentioning Brian Flores, so he's going to continue to do his thing. I got them at number nine. Number eight, I have the Commanders, the Washington Commanders. They played a very weak Giants team, obviously, but this team and this roster all around is a really good football team. They will definitely make a push for the NFC East title this season. They'll give the Eagles a run for their money. Jaden Daniels in his second season. Dan Quinn's got that defense dialed, and they've added another pass catcher. I call him a wide back in Deebo Samuel. He looked sharp as well in his first game with the Commanders. So
That boy.
this team will continue to be good, and they'll also make a push for the NFC Championship game as well. I don't think they're quite there yet to make a Super Bowl run, but they're very close. Number seven, I have the Rams, Los Angeles Rams. Um, can't question him. He's always going to produce a good football team. This was only week one. Stafford dealing with a back. He still looked good. Didn't even play all of preseason as a Hall of Fame quarterback. Now you add Devonta Adams to the mix. I mean, everything's open at this point. It's like 7-Eleven. You've got him, you've got Puka, you've got Kyron Williams, and then you've got that defensive line. That defensive line is really good. They gave CJ Stroud and that offensive line problems from the start of the game to the end. So this will be a very good Rams team down the road, and I think they will actually make a push for the NFC Championship game, to be honest with you. At number six, I have the Kansas City Chiefs. They had a hard-fought game against the Chargers. Obviously came up a little bit short. I really liked what I saw from Mahomes. He looked like his old self in his rookie and second year, before he had the ankle injury in his third season. But he was mobile again, and I really think that's going to be a key, especially how they've lost some of their receivers. I don't know if Williams will be back for this week. Rasheed Rice is out another 5. Kelsey's in the latter half of his years. Um, but Mahomes looked really good, and if he can be able to use his legs and make plays, this is going to be another dangerous football team on the offensive side. Defense, they're going to continue doing their thing. I don't really have any questions there. Again, it is week one, but this will be a very good football team, and they'll continue to make a push for the Super Bowl as long as Mahomes is there. Number five, I have the Chargers. I have the Chargers at number five. I thought Herbert looked really good. If he can continue this throughout the season, be consistent, and also carry that over into the playoffs, and this will be a very dangerous Chargers team. Quentin Johnson, the Holy Spirit did a work on him. He can finally catch the ball. Something happened in the off season, so thank God he can be able to catch. He can actually run a route, and then you've got Ladd, and you also got Hampton as a running back. He looked solid. That defensive line for the Chiefs is really good, so there wasn't a lot of room to break through, but he'll be fine. And then Harbaugh is always going to have his guys ready to go. That offensive line looks really good, even though they've lost Slater, I believe, for the season. It just doesn't seem to matter, so they'll be just fine. But they have to have this consistency all throughout. It is a very tough AFC West division. They're going to have to continue winning some big games, specifically against the Chiefs again and the Broncos twice. Top four now. I've got at four. I've actually got Philly. I got Philadelphia Eagles at four. Again, they'll still be a good team. I actually have them in the Super Bowl this year as my preseason prediction. Um, just didn't see a lot from the receiver side of things that will continue to develop. I just thought they should have beat the Cowboys by a little bit more than 4 points. But again, it is week one. I won't get into over speculation right now. But as of right now, I've got them at number four. Number three, I've got Green Bay Packers at number three. We've already talked about them. Very good defense, very good offense. Jordan Love's doing his thing. Receivers got to stay healthy. And then you got a bruiser in the backfield with Josh Jacobs. That's a very hard team to stop. If they can just play consistent football and look the same week in and week out, this will be a team that pushes for a Super Bowl. But they can't afford any lapses this year, especially as they get closer to the playoffs. My top two, I've got number two, I've got the Ravens. I still think they're a little bit better of a football team from an all-around standpoint than the Bills, but you have to close games out. You have to close games out, especially being up as much as they were with 4 minutes to go. It's unacceptable. We've already talked about it before, but I have them at number two. They will also make a Super Bowl push this year. If they can just carry the regular season success over into the playoffs and be consistent, this is a very dangerous team. And I really like how they've retooled their defense a little bit. Looks a little more stable than it did last year. I like the veterans that they've added on the secondary. And Hamilton's back. They've got a rookie safety. Wiggins is in his second season. So I like the secondary, what I saw. They also added a Wouzier from the Bengals. I think they'll be just fine if they can stay healthy. And then obviously my number one team is Buffalo Bills as of right now. They pulled out a huge win. You got to tip your hat off to that and give credit where credit's due. Um, Not just Josh Allen here. Obviously, he did his thing and leading his team to a comeback win. But I just thought this was a very well-coached game from the Bills' standpoint. And their defense showed up when it needed to. Causing a fumble on Derrick Henry, that's no easy task. And then being able to close out a game on the last drive in the final possession. So those are my rankings from 1 through 10. Any thoughts, fellas?
I'll jump in first, Makan. We'll see if you agree with me. Overall, solid list for sure. I think we agree on a lot of your lists, especially in the middle with Commanders, Rams, Chiefs, Chargers. That's all good to me. To start, I got to put Philly at three and Packers at four. Um, I think if they played right now, Philly would win. And just because Jordan Love hasn't shown me he can win those big games, especially when it counts yet. And I trust Jalen Hurts a lot better. Obviously, the receivers didn't do too much for Philly, but I think that's just something that we saw last year, and it still didn't matter, to be honest. And they got it done when they needed to. Um, I'm taking the Vikings out of your top 10, in my opinion, and putting them at 11. I don't think the Bears are all that. I think Caleb Williams missed a ton of throws, and he just didn't look all that good. JJ obviously struggled early, but he got it together. But like you said, they do have a good O line and good D line, so they'll be all right. But right now, I'm putting the 49ers at 9 because I think they'd be a much tougher Seattle team on the road, missing all those weapons. And then I'm putting the Bucs at 10 because I still think Atlanta is a much better team than Chicago. And Michael Penix played a really good game, and they had a beat a good Falcons team. And Baker Mayfield is looking great, and Emeka Buka is a dog. Like that boy's coming. So I got the Bucs at 10, 49ers at 9, and then pretty much the rest of your list we match up on.
Yeah, somewhat similar to Dylan. I didn't really have any complaints. The only thing I would have changed, I had the Bucks at 10. I would have had the Bucks at 10 over was it the 49ers. Like I really like what I saw from it, the Bucks, and I think Atlanta's going to be a very good ball club team. And someone across from here has been banging the desk for freaking Michael Penix, and he looked great. I got to give it to him. Michael Penix looks really, really good. So it's good to see that. So yeah, I had the Bucks at 10, but I thought the list was fine. I thought it was a very good list. Yeah, even at the top end, I had no complaints. I liked the Bills at number one, and then the Ravens at two. Those are clearly, I think, they've separated themselves as of right now as the two best teams in the league. So yeah, no complaints.
Yeah, I have no complaints either about your guys' revisions. I think the reason I left the Bucks out is because I just, on my opinion, typically the NFC South is a little bit soft from a defensive side of things. I think most games in the NFC South honestly just end up in a shootout. It's not a very tough division. So reason I put the Vikings over them and the Niners is because the NFC West and the North is a lot tougher in my opinion than NFC South. But again, it's week one. I really do like what I saw from Baker and that offense. The Falcons are no scrubs there. They're going to have a great defense, even though it struggled a little bit later in the game. That offense has weapons all over the place. But yeah, no complaints on the revisions, but that's kind of my reasoning for why I left the Bucks out, at least for now.
Yeah, that's totally fair. For time wise, we're gonna keep it moving and jump into week two games. First, we got the Eagles at the Chiefs, and I do believe the Eagles are a 1.5 point favorite in Arrowhead, which is a tough place to play. So, Makai, let's hear your thoughts.
Eagles at the Chiefs, man. I think this is a matchup I think we've all been waiting for since the end of that Super Bowl. But yeah, it's going to be a great game. Eagles are going to Arrowhead. They'll be undefeated going into that game. Hopefully, I would love to see them get the passing game just a little bit more involved. Definitely going to be a tough task against that stingy Chiefs defense. And then Patrick Mahomes, it'll be interesting to see if Xavier Worthy's going to give it a go or not. I don't think he will, quite frankly. So I think that's my only worry with the Chiefs is their weaponry, but it seems like Mahomes seems to get it done regardless who is going to play receiver. So with that being said, I like the Chiefs. I think the Chiefs go out and with them being at home, and I'm sure they're still sour from that Super Bowl loss a year ago and how it went and how they got blown off the field. I think the Chiefs bounce back from a Week One loss, and I think they really do need this game. Quite frankly, you just don't want to start 0-2. It's just not a good start, and I think the Eagles. I think Patrick Mahomes just makes a couple more plays than Jalen Hurts, and yeah, I think the Chiefs go out and win. And I think they get a couple stops, and I think the Eagles lose this 17-14. I'm gonna go with a low scoring game. Um, yeah, I don't think it'll be as high scoring. Both defenses are very, very good, and I think the QBs struggle just a bit, but I think Mahomes makes a couple plays to put them over the top.
Yeah, that's interesting. From a low scoring standpoint, I don't think it'll be that low. I do think it'll be a close game, but I do also have the Chiefs winning. Um, I just don't see Mahomes the way he is losing to this team again after that Super Bowl. My biggest kind of hesitation is with the receiver play, as Makai alluded to. I don't know who he's going to throw the ball to. You might as well throw Taylor Swift in there and get her some catches. But at the end of the day, I think the Chiefs win. I think the Chiefs win 30. I'm sorry, 34 to 28.
34? A lot.
Um, yeah, both of these passing teams I think are gonna struggle. I think Hurts, AJ, and Devontae got to figure out their connection and get that clicking again, and then Worthy, and then Rice being out. I think Mahomes is gonna have to do a lot, but also it's a tall order, especially against that Eagles defense. Is Jalen Carter back in this game? Yeah. Uh, Shoot. I think it's going to be a close game for sure. I'm taking the Eagles in this one. It's a tough place to play, and Spagnuolo is going to give Hurts some fits, but I just don't. I can't see, the Eagles with a better running game, better passing options, better defense overall. Them going and losing this game. I got the Eagles winning a close one, 24-21. But yeah, we will see. It'll be a good game for sure, and it'll be a lot better than the Super Bowl last year, in my opinion. Moving on, we got a Thursday night game with the Commanders going to the Packers, and I believe the Packers are a 3.5 point favorite. Um, it should be a really good game and a tough task for Jaden Daniels. Jaden, let's hear your thoughts.
I think this, in my opinion, will be the best game of the week. Um, I've got the Packers winning this one. I just think that defense will be too much for at least where we're at in the season right now. And I'm not sure. I'm not really worried about Jaden Daniels. I'm just not sure the offense as a collective will be able to get it done. I don't think the run's going to be there as much as it was against the Giants. So without having much of a run factor, it makes things really difficult. Um, so with that, I've got Packers winning this game. I also think this will be fairly high scoring, but I've got the Packers running away with this one by a close one, but I've got them winning 31-28 by three.
Oh yeah, Commanders Packers Thursday night. It's going to be very very good game. I believe it's at Lambeau if I'm not mistaken. Again, so that is a very brutal place to play. Um, yeah, I love what I saw of the Commanders, even though it was against the Giants, and I like what Jing Daniels how he played against the Giants because one thing is not talk about that Giants front seven is kind of nasty. So it was good to see him kind of attack a defense and play pretty well against a front seven that is as good as the front seven that they have in New York. But with that being said, I have the Packers as well. I think the Packers get it done. I just love what I saw offensively and defensively. I think they make a couple plays. Also, too, I think they'll be able to run the ball. Also, too, better to aid with Jordan Love's passing game. Unlike the Commanders, I'm not. My little concern is how well they're going to be able to run the football against that Packers defense. I think if they're able to run the football, they could potentially pull it out, but I don't think they'll be able to run it too well. And I think Micah's going to be a little bit more acclimated. He's going to probably play more snaps than he did a week ago. So with that being said, I like the Packers also with a 31-21. I think they win by two scores.
Hi, we agree on something. I also got the Packers winning 31-21, is what I have written down. I think Micah, like you said, will have a bigger impact. Um, and like Jaden alluded to, the run game for Washington is going to be limited, especially with that Packer front seven. The way they're playing, Lambeau is a tough place to play, whether it's winter or not. And I think Jaden Daniels can only do so much. The Packers have so many weapons on offense; it's not even fair. And I don't think the Packers, or sorry, the Commanders' defense will be able to keep up with them. So, yep, I got Packers winning by 10 in a thriller. Next game we have is the Falcons going to the Vikings. Vikings are, I believe, a 4.5 point favorite. It's kind of surprising, but yeah, Jaden, your thoughts on this game?
I think this will also be another really good game and a good performance from both offenses. Unfortunately, I think Michael Penix will continue to do his thing. Um, Unfortunately, I just don't think that Atlanta will squeeze out a win here on the road. I think they really needed that one against the Bucs in Week 1. Unfortunately, I just see them starting out 0-2. I think the Vikings got some rhythm, especially that second half of the Bears game. JJ looks a lot more comfortable. It's the first game at home. I think as Penix does what he usually does, he comes down, makes a couple good plays, ties it up or something like that in the fourth quarter. The Vikings eventually end up coming down and making a field goal for the game winner. So I've got the Vikings beating the Falcons. My score here is 34-31.
Yeah, this is going to be a very, very good game on Sunday night in Minnesota. It's going to be a very good game, but yeah, I like the Vikings as well. I love the momentum, especially towards the end of that Bears game. I'm not gonna lie, I was ready to hate on the Vikings by the end of that third quarter of that Bears game. I was ready to hate because I did not like what I saw at all. At all. They just looked bad. JJ looked uncomfortable. The receivers looked like they were struggling to get open. The front line up front, like JJ was just getting killed. But yeah, and they flipped it like that, and Kevin O'Connell just got it together, and it seemed like they were able to run the ball a lot better. And as they were able to run the ball, it seemed like it opened the play action, and the pass game seemed to open up. And I loved what I saw, and I think a lot of that success will also carry over. And I think Penix is going to do his thing, man. He looks really good, looks very comfortable back there, and looks seasoned like a seasoned vet at times. But yeah, I think the Falcons really did need that Bucks game. And with that being said, I got the Vikings 28-21.
Yeah, I'm taking the Falcons in this one.
Of
I
course.
think they had a much tougher opponent in week one, playing the Bucks, and I feel like um, I'm not that high on the Vikings or the Bears, honestly. I think JJ still has some growing pains to get through. He did squeak out a win, but it was mostly just Caleb Williams and the Bears laying an egg. Um, I got the Falcons going to Minnesota and winning. I think Michael Penix has thought about that national championship game, and he's looking for revenge, and I think he's gonna get it done. Um, so I got the Falcons winning in a close one, 27-24 on Sunday night. Um, moving on, unless anyone has rebuttal on that. Any opinions? Okay. Last game to talk about for the night is the Bucks at the Texans. Last time I checked, they are a 1.5 point favorite, the Texans, but let me just confirm.
There's
Okay,
some good games next
Texans.
week.
Oh yeah, definitely. Texans are a 2.5 point favorite now, so tell me about that shit. Amen. Amen.
Terrible.
I don't know about that one. Someone got a question Vegas on that one, but I think it will be a good game. But honestly, I don't like what I saw from the Texans in Week One. That O line looks more suspect by the year. The Bucks defense is real, and they have a good defensive coordinator. Um, and they look good against the Falcons. I think Bijan is a top three running back, and they handled him pretty well. And Baker's just slinging it, man. They got Chris Godwin's hurt. It doesn't matter. Mekabuka was drafted, and he looks like he could be a number one eventually. So I got the Bucks running away with this game, 28-17. Your guys' thoughts?
Yep, I have the Bucks as well. I've got Baker coming in there on the road and just putting on a show. Um, Texans, it's unfortunate. They've got a lot of good talent all around the team, not just offense and defense, but just all around in general. But that O line is really bad. I think it's a bottom five O line. Um, CJ, I feel bad for the guy. I think he has a lot of talent, but you gotta retool that offensive line, and they just haven't. So I don't see the Texans winning this one. I've got the Bucks winning again, starting out 2-0, moving up into our top seven of our power rankings next week. We shall see. But I've got the Bucks moving away, winning this one, um, 28 to 18.
Yeah, I'm gonna sweep here. I have the Bucks as well. I don't like what I saw from the Texans at all. Defensively, I think they're going to be very good. I think they're going to give the Bucks a little bit of troubles at times because their defense is really good. Um, but and even against the Rams, they gave them a little bit of problems. But yeah, that offensive line is god awful. It's atrocious. Can't block anything. CJ hasn't been good neither. Like I get it, it's no line, but CJ just hasn't been good. Even when he's given time, he just hasn't been good. And I think that a lot of that is because his O line's been bad. But yeah, I like the Bucks. I think the Bucks probably put about 24 because I really do think that defense is very good. But I like it about 24-7. Yeah, I don't think Texans are going to score a lot.
That's a blowout, but looks like we're all in consensus to end the night. I appreciate you guys tuning in. This is Magna Ball Podcast signing out, and we'll see y'all next week.